Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Curtis Selby, your retired midnight blogger. What blogs, in this case, at 10 p.m. I would like to start the stream by sharing what probably everybody knows by now, that there has been an assassination attempt on the ex-president Donald Trump. I'm going to try to do my own centrist analysis of it. I'd already been on the stream with Moira Kitty, and we've done that stream. I will be influenced by that, but I will also have at least my own slightly different take. I actually forgot to share with her the link, so I'm going to do that before I get too much further, just in case she wants to come on here as well. And so I would also like to thank the people who have shown up. Thank you very much, Putin's Cat, for being here. And thank you very much, Matt Cheatwood. It is a day to remember. And yeah, Putin's Cat, I didn't post that I was on her stream because I didn't know that I was going to be on it. It's been a little bit of a hectic day, even without people trying to shoot people. So that was basically a last minute thing. I will accept your criticism that I'm likely not doing a great job of scheduling, but at this point, I barely care. Someone tried to shoot somebody. So I'm just going to do the best I can to cover that situation with my very limited resources. I do understand that you're trying to help, Putin's Cat. Thank you very much. I know, the long and the short is I was trying to talk with one of the other people. I was trying to talk to Thade about when he wanted to do his stream, and things kind of weren't working very well on either of our end. And then last minute, all of a sudden, somebody shot at Trump, and Moira and I both wanted to talk about that. So that was set up very quickly, and I just really didn't have time to get anything set up to go there. So this is a little bit impromptu, and I know I do a lot of things impromptu. I'm sorry about that. Enigma Severus, greetings. I am very happy to see you. Today I haven't gotten much done, but it's ended up being a crazy day anyway. People are saying hi to each other. Very good, very kind. A lot of wonderful people here. I'll go ahead and dive into my analysis. Now, again, I realize I have my bias. I will attempt to be centrist, but likely some of my bias will come through. I'm going to give a little bit of background, not so much about the shooting effort, because you can find things on the news. I won't be sharing very much that you don't already know as far as the actual attempt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what I think about it, what I think about the internet's reaction, about the reactions of people on both sides of the aisle about particular tragic things. I'm going to dive in by sharing at least a little bit of a video from The Hill. I'm certain that there will likely be 5 friends who can tell me reasons why The Hill is a terrible source, because it always turns out that whatever source I like turns out to be unreliable. Having said that, oh, yes, you know what? Hold on, let me get that. No, not that. This one.
Fox News host Tucker Carlson again suggesting that he expects Donald Trump to be assassinated. Let's watch.
Are they going to let Trump be president?
No, of course. I mean, look, if, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously.
Now, I'm not saying that you should listen to Tucker Carlson. I'm not saying that you should make him your favorite pundit, but I hate to tell you this. He called this one. He absolutely called this one. Now, I'm not saying that he's right as far as being an official thing. I'm not going to go that far. But somebody opposed to him tried to shoot him. I think with the exception of some liberal friends of mine, I think that's a pretty established fact. But I will just be willing to a point to discuss the debatability of that to a point. And whatever else you think of Tucker, he did predict that. I've wondered about it. My right-wing friends talked about it. My left-wing friends joked about it. And now here we are. Putin's cat is saying that his reaction is Revelations 13. That is likely very cool. I may look up what Revelations 13 says later, not at the moment. Matt Cheatwood. Oh, and Sashi, the man from the future. Thank you for being here. You're very kind. And Matt Cheatwood says, what concerns me, yes, is the repercussions of this event. Whether you think, whether we're going to go all Kennedy on this, and I'm seeing both sides having conspiracy theories come out. But whether we go all Kennedy on this or whether we just go with cut and dried, somebody tried to shoot him. If somebody on the right tries to do the same stupid thing to Biden that some stupid person has attempted to do to Trump, look, I said it on Moira's and I will say it here. And if you hear only this from this stream, if you ignore everything else, if you think everything else is foolish, please hear this. If we end up in a civil war, this was the first shot. Think about that. The date on this, I want to say that was 10 months ago was when that was. And yeah, he may be batshit crazy, but sadly, everybody seems to be. But it is a fact, and you can debate whatever else you want. It is a fact that 10 months ago he said that someone would try to assassinate Trump, and it is a fact that today it happened. We can debate the ramifications. We can debate all kinds of things. But those two things are facts. Putin's cat, one of the heads seemed to have a morbid wound. But its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. That's an interesting take on it. That really is. Enigma Severus, however, disagrees that Revelation 13 does not pertain to us at this time. Putin's cat says that Biden has better security, which is true, and is probably right. I mean, he's the current sitting president. Putin's cat and Harris has become president. Yeah. Again, think whatever you want of Tucker, but he said something that has come to pass. And the fact that a quote-unquote batshit crazy person is capable of doing that tells us that we're living in batshit crazy times. So I will share a little bit of the news. A lot of this you would be able to find on your own, so I don't want to go too deeply into it. Sashi, by my observation, there's a lot of people who are batshit crazy these days, and it's true. That's 100% true. I sometimes I often despair of finding a good source. When I was on Moira's channel, I was trying hard not to feel a little bit impatient because I was hoping that she would drum up some different sources. But one, it's her channel, and two, hell, does any of us even know what a valid source is anymore? And I'll get a little bit into that. That's not my main point. I've made my main point, but I'm going to try to back it up, at least with some tertiary and peripheral things. Putin's cat, the beast, was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. Okay. I'm not going to comment on that. It is interesting, however. It is interesting. So, in my flailing efforts to find a decent source, I went with ABC News. Likely not everyone can agree on that, but it's not CNN, it's not Fox. So hopefully we can at least all agree that maybe there's some objectivity here. The article says that Trump says he was shot at a rally in possible assassination attempt, and the spectator was killed, and the shooter is dead. I will play a little bit of this, but not the whole thing. Let me hear it.
But I'm just going to jump right into it, right to when the shots happened. Trump started his speech, and immediately it sounded like what everyone's saying, like fireworks or firecrackers. And as soon as I heard the first one, I looked over. We were probably right in the middle of the stands. If you're facing Trump, we were in the left section underneath the screen, right in the front row. I just saw the bullets hitting the stands, bouncing up, and I thought they were like the shells at first. Like I thought someone was right beside us. And then I heard the pause. There was the 4 shots, maybe a 5-second pause, and then the rest of the 4 shots that I then heard. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing everyone just screaming, get down, get down. I'm hearing get a medic. I'm seeing people with blood on them. I'm trying to help people get down. And I look up, I see the Secret Service gathering Trump immediately. Like I heard everyone saying, that was just highly impressive.
And I'll go ahead and not play any more of that. I'm sure that you've all already seen a bunch of videos like that show the shot, the shooting, the people ducking, things like that. Former President Donald Trump says he was shot in the ear after a gunman opened fire towards the stage at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania today, on Saturday. A harrowing incident that left 1 spectator dead, 2 others critically injured, and sparked chaos at the event. Officials briefed on the investigation told ABC News that the shooting, a chilling development on the eve of the Republican National Convention, was being investigated as a possible assassination attempt, and that live rounds were apparently fired from outside the security perimeter. It is being investigated by the FBI, overseen by the Justice Department's National Security Division, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office in Pittsburgh. The Secret Service, in a statement, said that a shooter fired multiple shots towards the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue, after which agents neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. And I will just take a moment to say that on Moira's channel, we took a look. I don't think I'll do that here unless, everybody is just really interested in it. But essentially, I mean, we were armchair quarterbacking, so be aware we're not experts. But looking at a photo of that event from earlier, before they'd set up the stage and everything, it looked to us like the shooter was actually in one of the most likely places where there should have been and was not a guard. And so that was very odd. People are arguing about the Bible. I respect both, and I will say nothing about either one. I have my own thoughts on it, but I'm not going to delve into a biblical debate. But I respect that there's a debate going on here. And I get that Revelations, we often want to quote it. We want to apply it to things that are going on now. But I don't know that it's always helpful to do that. Possibly I'm wrong. Possibly this is a prophetic thing. I don't know. I don't know enough to actually say anything about that. The Secret Service, the shooter fired as many as 8 rounds from an AR-style rifle while perched on a rooftop adjacent to the venue and was 200 to 300 yards away at the time of the shooting. Now, we had heard closer reports than that in other places, but this is what ABC News is reporting. One spectator was killed, 2 others critically injured. There appeared to be blood on Trump's right ear as he was being taken off stage. He could be seen mouthing "fight" and pumping his fist. A spokesperson for Trump said in a statement, President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. In a statement on Truth Social posted hours after the shooting, Trump said he was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place. I believe the ear does kind of bleed quite a bit when it's cut. Or sometimes, it depends on where it's cut. So I realized then that something was happening. He wrote to the Post, which expressed condolences to the family of the rally goer who was killed. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country, he added. Trump's campaign says he still plans to attend the RNC. There's been a lot of support. I won't go into that. Maybe being unfair, but I'm glad and gratified. I wonder how much of the support is genuine, but that's not a part of my analysis. And Matt Cheatwood is saying that he's found a little more information about why the Secret Service detail didn't see him right away. And I would be very happy. I know, you're a wrench. You should be able to share that as a link in the chat, and I'll be happy to make a segue to that. Let's see. I will read at least a few more statements here. Enigma Severus, someone's analysis with biblical references. You missed the fact that Revelation 13 is taking place during a 7-year specific period when Christians are not in the world. My roomie thinks this was an inside job, meaning that people notified police and they did nothing and they waited. Well, I'm going to get to that, but thank you for bringing that up. Enigma Severus doesn't need people to analyze the Bible for him, and Enigma Severus responds with, which is highly dangerous. Okay, and Matt Cheatwood has the link in the chat. Let's see if I'm smart enough to be able to get that moving. I may need to view it on YouTube. Sorry for the silence. I'm just getting the YouTube channel up so that I can get to the link because Yardstream is weird. Okay. I will make my next segue to that then. The roof was not flat. The shooter was hidden behind the peak as he crawled up to the ridge line. Okay, so let's share this video. I'm very interested to know what this person will say. Okay. I will skip a little bit.
One of my subscribers, John, former Army veteran. Thank you, John, for.
What a fucking sick wall.
Dude, that's exactly why we need fucking Trump here.
All right, and thank you very much for that. I will share more of it, but I wanted to stop so that one, not flagged, and two, to do a little bit of analysis. Thank you for sharing that. That is definitely a different angle than we see on most of these news interpretation, these news channels. Matt Cheatwood says you can see at about 257 the roof. So let's go there. Hopefully it's okay. I'm just going to skip to about 250-ish.
Took the shot. Now, they're saying reports that this is.
Now, as a segue, Moira and I were both discussing how this was popping up in Twitter, and I was really trying to verify it, but I couldn't. But this gentleman is talking about the same thing. I'll let you listen to him for a bit, and we'll see the roof and stuff.
The shooter here, Mark Violence, an Antifa member. Apparently, he just uploaded a video, Justice is Coming. And my question is, initially, was it a Daniel Defense rifle? Now, this is and the reason why I say Daniel Defense, because it's somehow, they're always supplied, FBI supplied with Daniel Defense rifles. So here's the scenes. You can see the overlay and such. But, I've been.
One, thank you again for sharing this, but one, that's actually showing him on a different building than we had reported to us earlier. And while I'm not going to go so far as to say that this verifies that he's Antifa, it does give us a little more background on what's going on. I'm going to bring Moira Kitty on. She has been kind enough to come on here. So please, everybody, she and her community made me very welcome on her channel. Please welcome Moira Kitty to the stage.
Yes, sorry I left you hanging for what I guess is like 23 minutes because
oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
I ADHD bad, so I was like, yeah, he'll start he'll go live in 15 minutes. My brain just shut down and forgot and went.
Well, I had my ADHD moment. It took me a few minutes into the stream to remember to send you the link. So thank you for your patience and kindness.
I just completely forgot, and I was going through my stuff and looking and seeing people's reaction to what I posted and seeing what people are saying, kind of doing seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
And I saw you sent me a link. I was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to go.
No, you're good. You're good. You're absolutely good. Matt Sheetwood was kind enough to share this video that I'm sharing with the community. Some of the information this guy is giving is different, and I'm pretty sure that some of it, like the stuff that you see, is accurate. I mean, it's got to be either that or it's a big deep fake. But God bless him.
There's more time that goes by, the more time people have to create the fake.
Exactly. Let me.
Cheatwood, they only get the 3 names if they succeed. Like he attempted, like John Hinckley attempted to kill Reagan. He didn't do it. Only if you succeed in assassination do you get the 3 names. Just like in that Mel Gibson movie, Conspiracy Theory. He explains that, and he's right.
Exactly.
So he didn't succeed, so he only gets 2 names, not 3.
Okay, so since you're here, let me back this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all this guy's analysis, even though, frankly, it's probably better than mine. But I'm going to play the video for you that I guess, well, I'll back it up a little. Maybe he'll tell where he got the video from, but I don't want to go too deeply into it because you can go to his video and get his analysis. But I want to get the highlights. I want to get the good stuff out of it. So,
unseen footage from one of my subscribers, John, former Army veteran. Thank you, John, for supplying this with us. This was a video that he shot at the rally. He was at the rally when the shooting happened. And I'm going to go ahead and play this now and check it out.
Okay, so this is a different angle, and when I first started to watch it, I was like, "Oh crap, this isn't even going to be very good." But then it's got payoff. It's really good.
I don't know where to look. I'm just looking everywhere because I don't know what to look at. Yeah, Putin's cat.
Yes, we have Putin's cat here. We have Enigma Severus. We have Matt Cheatwood and Sashi.
Yay!
So really good people, really intelligent people. There is some debate going on, but I hope it's friendly and respectful. I'm not necessarily going into it because I don't want to distract from the takes. We'd gone into some analysis about where the shooter was and where the Secret Service should have been. This gives a little bit more explanation of that.
Huh.
And I guess I have the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, so there.
All right, so now I more or less know what. So we back up. Let's see what we saw before the shots went off, if it shows it, because it was kind of looking at the other buildings. I don't.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's part of it. I think we were shown the wrong building again, but
either way, there wasn't somebody up there that should have been.
There should have been. 100% should have been. I agree. Yeah, he got somebody there. I don't know who, but he got somebody. It looks like to me, anyway.
They could just be getting down and freaking out.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He might be yelling at the guy in the white shirt to get down.
Yeah.
That's such a short building. Like, you've got a very short building to get on. I mean, if you don't need it too high.
Where's that?
What a fucking sick world.
Dude, that's
Which
exactly
dude,
why
Trump?
we need fucking Trump here.
He's walking over there casually.
Oh, the fucking
Yeah.
Secret Service don't
Why is he walking? He's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, he's walking nice and casual like.
Yeah,
Shouldn't he
it's
be doing that
true.
weird- Shouldn't he be doing that weird run that, like, when we were in school and the principal or the teacher was running, they kind of did this weird kind of like run, like they were trying to hold their chest in place so it wouldn't fall. And they're just like usually they'd have a necklace that was a whistle or something, so they'd put their hand against like their collarbone area to stop it from bouncing, and they would just do this weird run, like they had a stick up their ass that like they were trying to be
Gotcha.
fast, but they weren't. Like that one. Like I feel like the cop, at the very least, should be doing that weird teacher run. He's not even. He's just casually walking in front. Like, what?
Hello, Darth Plato. Welcome
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the channel.
Yeah, Darth Plato.
As usual, I'm talking about stuff way above my head.
Sorry.
What else? What else? Okay, so there's debate going on. I will let that go. I love that there's debate, but I don't want to get distracted right now.
Right.
So
They got right ahead. Holy shit.
Yeah. Where's that one? It's in there.
We saw him fall.
So the thing is, I don't know if you could tell, but the shots happened, and then how long it took to get the Secret Service shot. I mean, that's a little
Yeah,
alarming
10 seconds. I counted
to me.
10 seconds.
right
you heard
on.
the succession of shots. It sounds suppressed to me. I could be wrong, but then the when the Secret Service finally took the shot. Now they're saying reports that this is the shooter here.
And remember, we'd talked about this gentleman a little bit too.
Yeah.
And then you'd come on about that time. So
Right? Because this fella, like, he looks like he's 250 pounds. That guy they shot on the roof looks like that skinny guy from, I forget what movie, Road Trip or something, where he gets with that big old girl. DJ Qualls or something. He looks like skinny like that. That dude looks like he's 90 pounds and maybe 5'8". I mean, I don't know how tall this dude is, but he's not 90 pounds. That's for damn sure.
No, that's true. Unless it's all in his face, he's got those chubby cheeks.
Then I'd be worried about his circulation and whatnot. If he's got that much swelling in the face compared to the rest of his body, he needs to go talk to a doctor. But
yeah,
God
well,
damn,
his doctors probably got him on statins that are killing him. But anyway, it's a moot point now, not to be crude. But all right,
Violence and Antifa member.
Shit.
Apparently, he just uploaded a video. They're saying reports that this is the shooter here, Mark Violence, an Antifa member. Apparently, he just uploaded a video. Justice is coming. And my question is, initially, was it a Daniel Defense rifle? Now, this is and the reason why I say Daniel Defense, because it's somehow they're always supplied, FBI supplied with Daniel Defense rifles.
Wait.
So here's the scenes. You can see the overlay and such.
And this is the other thing. I don't know why that one thing that we looked at, it said that it was at that other building. I was like you. I was looking at that taller building. Evidently, he was at this smaller one.
because like two different sources said he was in a different spot, so that's why.
Exactly. But that source, I'm still glad we looked at it because there totally should have been an agent there.
Exactly.
In my humble opinion.
Absolutely. I don't understand like how they
they could have stopped it maybe 10 seconds quicker. I mean,
I didn't pay attention to that guy who said, "Hey, there's somebody over there."
Yeah. And again, I know we're armchair quarterbacking, et cetera, et cetera.
But the good thing about that is we're outside looking in objective opinion and not like,
Yeah, exactly. I am going to interject only one thing into this debate. There was a Christian fictional writer recently. I can't remember his name, but he wrote some really compelling and frightening fiction. And granted, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily biblically true, but he wrote some fiction that explained why the United States isn't mentioned in the Bible, and it was very chilling. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that topic, but I will say that I don't know what the America was called, like the North American continent, USA, what this area was called before it was turned into America. Like
Right
when
on.
the Native Americans had it, it was like 1400s. Like I don't know what this area would have been called, and I don't know what this land would have been called 2,000 years ago. So if it is named in the Bible, I wouldn't know what it was. So
And
it's hard to
go
say
ahead.
for sure because it wouldn't have been called USA, obviously, because that wasn't until the 1700s. Well,
Yeah.
well, America, until the people were starting to come over here.
Yeah, and that's a topic for another day. But there's it would be interesting to know what would the Bible would even say if it had. I mean, I'm not saying it has nothing to do with us. That's not what I mean. But
Right.
if there was any reason for it to talk about us, I wonder what they would have called us about 1,500 years before Columbus, roughly ish.
Yeah.
Darth Plato is saying something about that something was relating that he was arrested. Did they say something about him being arrested in here?
When everything, I think before it showed pictures, before I was finding pictures of him having been shot, they had said that he was captured or something like that. But like,
I must have
I mean,
missed that.
once he survived, I mean, people can survive getting shot in the head.
Well,
It's not always
yeah.
a guarantee they'll die. It's highly likely they'll die, but sometimes people end up just in comas and shit. Like head injuries can be a very weird thing. I think there's
Right on.
somewhere I heard a story long ago that someone took a small bullet to the right, like the center of their head, like right where the divide between the left and the right brain is.
Yes.
It was only a small, like little 25 or little 22. It was real small, so it wasn't super big. But they probably would have killed him if they had removed it. So they just stayed. It's what this was like 20 years ago. I'd heard about it.
One of the seminal studies about the differences between the hemispheres of the brain came about. Anyway, I won't go into it because I don't want to have people
That's a whole
challenge
other
me on
thing.
the sources. But anyway, the long and the short is something happened and his brain got separated, but he survived.
Right.
And so they got to learn interesting things about how the right hemisphere did some things and the left hemisphere did some things. And then they studied it in other ways other than people having like terrible things happen to them.
Right.
So I will play a bit more of this, see what he has to show and say. But I missed it if he said that he was arrested, but I don't want to get distracted too much on that because obviously whether he was arrested or not, officially, the official story is that he's gone.
Right.
Not to gloat, but he's gone.
I've been calling this for quite a while. Whenever they couldn't replace Joe Biden, I said I think in Sunday's video, I said that, yeah, this will be the next step. And I've been saying this because, and I don't think this is going to be the only attempt. I think there's going to be more. To me personally, the head of his Secret Service team should be fired. Why was there
Absolutely.
not Secret Service on that rooftop either? I mean, to be
Agreed.
that close, to be able to get that close to Trump with a rifle is problematic. Now, Secretary Mayorkas of the Department of Homeland Security is head of the Secret Service. And why is it that this redneck drinking beer spots the shooter minutes before and warns Secret Service?
And I haven't gotten to talk about that yet. That was actually going to be the next thing I was going to share. But on your channel, we had looked at that BBC report about this chucklehead, this local saw the shooter, and yet nobody did anything about it. And I can I can go back to that, or we can keep listening to this.
He's wanting to know why that guy had spotted it. Well, judging by that tweet said that he worked there. So if I'm in the area, I might look over toward my work just to see it, be like, oh yeah, I work over there, or just, you know, you just look in the place that's familiar to you. So he might have happened to look over in that direction just for that and be like, what the fuck? And realize something's going on.
Right
Now,
on.
Now, if the business was open and everything, and we don't know really anything about the shooter yet. Like, we know what they're claiming at the moment, but the footage of the guy
Yeah.
and the picture of the guy look like two different people. So let's just say we don't know
Yeah.
for sure on who did it. And what if it's somebody who, you know, let's say they knew he was coming to town. And if it's a small enough town, you have a general idea of where people, like, it's like, if there's going to be an event, I can tell you this most likely will be at the fairgrounds because that's where shit happens. So maybe this area is where shit happens. So they knew if he was coming to that town, that's the area he would be at and what they would set up. They probably set it up like a day or so in advance, get the stuff ready. So he could have easily taken a rifle up there the day before, have it hidden somewhere or under a tarp, or, you know, a tarp the same color as the roof so nobody would really notice it, whatever. And then act like he was going up there to fix something, maybe, or maybe such a way that nobody would notice that he wasn't a repairman. And that might explain why he was able to be up there with something. But it's still silly that they were pointing and saying somebody's there and nothing was done about it. So I think the local PD definitely need to be interrogated, because he was telling local cops too that something's up and they weren't listening to him. And so I think we should find out who's in charge of the police department over there.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see,
And I'd like to say
he has
hi
an
to
online
the
presence.
channel.
Maybe he's got an online presence that kind of gives away where he stands on things.
Oh,
And
that I don't
And
know.
I was weighing the benefits in my head. Well, not benefits. I forget what you call it. It's kind of like a cost risk analysis type of thing. But in my head, I was thinking, if somebody who's kind of like an agency that had a reason for this, and I know somebody's going to get mad, but there's people on the left and the right that, you know, hate each other. Democrats are not even liking Biden. So it doesn't rule out that someone who was Democrat did this. So I don't want anyone to assume I'm just saying it for the Republicans. So hold on. But I weighed out basically the pros and cons of taking out either leader in this situation, either candidate, I should say, in this situation. I heard someone say that something about the shooter's hair. I don't know if it flew off or ew. That's rough. Yeah, he probably wouldn't survive that. But so on one hand, if let's say somebody was gonna take out Biden, the pros and cons of that situation is the left would be highly up in arms and they are harder to control than the right is on, like, decorum, so to speak. So you would have them up in arms, and it would also make the right look bad because they would assume somebody on the right had done it, and you would end up making the Democrats look better to some degree, that this because they were the victim of this. But if you go after Trump, whether it's win or lose, whether you actually get him or not, you put the Republicans in the lead. You put them, at least, you know, the more high ground or like the sympathy vote, whatever. You put them in the lead, whether Trump died or not. Because if, say, Trump died, maybe they'd have somebody that could take his place. He doesn't. You're almost guaranteed that your guy is going to win because of this, and they're going to assume the left did it. Somebody in the left did it is what they're going to think. That's the assumption, even if it's not true. So it's possible that if someone didn't care about Trump one way or another, but did want the Republicans to be at least socially speaking in the lead, this would do.
All right. I'm going to play the thing that we'd already played on your channel. I'm not meaning to be redundant. I just want the people in my channel to have some context, if they don't already know, about what this gentleman is talking about. And this is...
And it's for the playback, too, so other people will come in and see.
Yes, exactly. This is a BBC reporter talking to the witness that told that he saw the shooter on the roof and warned police. Is that? Let me know if it can be heard. I know
I can't
sometimes
hear it very well.
Okay.
The event, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw. So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees out there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground.
And my apologies. I know it's sounding tinny. I probably should have dug it up from X like you did, but
Yeah.
I pulled it up on Real Clear Politics. I don't know if they still are, but back when Ron Paul was running, they seemed to be a pretty good source for things, but I don't know if they still are anymore, but
we're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle, and the police were like, oh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this, and next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle swinging around as he was trying to crawl. We saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. It's a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is...
And I don't know. Do you think I should play the rest of it, Moira, or do you think is okay to leave it there with just what the hell do you say about that? I know we talked about it, but
yeah, I think it gives the gist of it. It doesn't hurt to listen to the rest if you want to, but it gives the gist. It definitely is putting the shadow of doubt on the situation, which is what we're going for.
Yeah. So essentially, there's a witness. He says he saw the gentleman. He tried to point out to the Secret Service. The interesting thing is, it may be there now, but I could not find that on YouTube. That's why, and again, I should have thought to probably go to X again instead, but instead I just searched on DuckDuckGo and found it on Real Clear Politics. I had trouble finding it, to be honest, but I think likely X was the better place to find it. So that gives us some context for what this gentleman is saying on Black Scout Survival.
But they do nothing about it.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farm and Greenhouse here. We had a party.
Skip ahead a bit.
Absolutely. We're pointing at them. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We can see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police, the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way that the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure.
Be careful. But, and I call that guy a redneck because I'm a redneck too. I tell you, I do redneck math all the time.
There are no rednecks in Oklahoma, as we all know.
What?
But anyway, just a few days ago, man, we saw this. Supreme Court gives Joe Biden the legal okay to assassinate Donald Trump. HuffPost said. So I just got an alert on my Garmin as well. Let me see. It says at least 2 people, including a suspected gunman, are dead after shooting at Trump rally. It's being investigated as assassination attempt. Of course it is. We knew that. So one of the bystanders in the crowd was hit as well. I'm not sure who shot him. But could it be a Lee Harvey Oswald type thing where it wasn't really Lee Harvey Oswald that shot Kennedy, where there was multiple shooters? Who knows?
Quite possible.
Regardless, Trump gives the fist pump after like a goat. The other day, Biden told donors it was time to put a Trump in the bullseye. He says, "What?"
We tried to find that.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember seeing it somewhere, but I don't really pay attention to a lot of things Biden says, so I probably just kept scrolling.
I understand. But
that the Satanists always say what they're going to do, right? They always say that. Now, Trump said this on True Social. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I know immediately that something was wrong, and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. Now, I did see the up close of the shot, and it was right through his ear. Like, I mean, you could see a hole in his ear. I'm going to go ahead and play this video again, what I showed earlier.
And I want to pause it again so that, we don't get dinged by YouTube.
Right.
I'm not sure I understand the question, Clue Channel. Is Rumble being fair, and are they allowing smartphone footage? I do not know.
I don't know. I don't know why Rumble wouldn't allow smartphone footage, but I don't know.
And I didn't mean to be unfair with the debate between Enigma Severus and Pluto's Cat. I mainly just didn't want to get distracted by it because of the focus on this. But But I respect that the two of you have different viewpoints on that, and I'm just not going to get into the middle of it because I don't. I'm not saying I don't have an opinion or a dog in the fight, but to me, at this time, I'm more focused on this. Respectfully, Darth Plato expects Hillbilly Jim to clothesline this guy in a second. Putin's cat says his guy dyed his hair and beard orange, and that he loves British dudes that look like that.
Oh no! Sorry, I was looking at someone's face. I was looking at my Facebook, and my honorary sister's actual sister, her younger sister, yesterday, a day ago, posted something because she thought it was funny. It was a picture of someone's tweet, and it says presidents don't get shot like they used to. That was a day ago.
Oh,
and someone commented 5 hours ago. 5 hours ago, somebody commented, goes, until now. And she goes, yeah, now I feel bad for having shared this. Like, oops.
Jeez.
Like, she was just trying to be funny. She's like, my bad. Like, it was like 24 hours before it happened, so she didn't know it was going to happen. Because I know this girl. She's not connected to any Fed shit.
No, I understand.
Or at least not like that, as far as I know. But anyway, it's just that her timing is so terrible. Oh, shit. And the original tweet was from 2020. That was so bad, but I'm gonna rag on her for a second because that's funny as shit. Her timing is so bad. I'm gonna laugh at her.
Darth Plato is saying that buckwheat has been shot. I remembered that skit. I love that.
Oh my god, Saturday Night Live, yes.
The Clue Channel saying is Rumble allowing smartphone. I'm still not. Oh, smartphone footage from participants in the rally. I don't know, but I would think that if YouTube's allowing this guy to have it, that Rumble would.
Right.
And okay. All right. So I've caught up with the chat. Let's get back to this guy's analysis and see if we can glean anything from it.
Even at the speed they're going to go get him is slow to me. And the fact that
I felt they actually did a decent job, but of getting to him.
Well, for already being aimed at him and aimed in that general direction and everything, taking 10 seconds to take that shot's craziness.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're like looking down a scope, 10 seconds is forever.
Yeah, not wrong.
Stage is incredible as well. Why they did not move him off the X quicker.
We're watching here live.
But I've been saying this, man. They've been trying to indict him. They've tried to do all these different things, trying to get him off the ballot. All these maneuvers. He's dominating the polls. So what do they have left? This is it. This is what we talk about pace planning. And if you're new here, you should watch our videos because we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. I've been calling this stuff for a while, and they're going to have different contingency plans to try to maintain control of the country. It's just the fact of the matter. They are not going to allow freedom in this country. We have tyrants in our government, and they're going to continue to try to rule the country.
Well, Moira, I think we both agree in principle, if not in fact, with this guy. What's your take on this so far?
Well, I understand he's got a channel to protect, so he's probably not going to come right out and say some stuff. But I do like the fact that he is alluding, and that does make, like, low key, it does make me want to pat myself on my own back a little bit, because he's also bringing up the fact that there was, like, he didn't count it. I sat there and counted like 1, 2, 3, to 10 seconds before that other shot was sent. So that's so weird. That's such a long hesitation when it's not like he was shooting from cover. Like, you could see him. He was out in the open. The International Space Station could fucking see him. Like he had a neon sign down there. So that 10 seconds of hesitation is crazy. So the whole thing is suspicious. I
Well-
think someone in like one of the three-letter agencies has definitely got something to do with it. And I think, I don't know. I think somebody was probably disliked both parties, but thought that this would have been the safer option.
Let's listen to another minute or two of this guy and see if he's got any more gems of wisdom to share with us.
Yeah.
Push us into socialism and ultimately communism, one world government, you name it, all of it. It's going to happen. And I did hear that Donald Trump may attend the UFC fight tonight, which would be incredible. He's a GOAT, man. If you didn't respect him before today, you should respect him. The man got shot in the head, stood up and gave a fist pump, and with a look of anger on his face. The thing is that you have to just question, like if you're not on the right side of history, if you're on the wrong side of history, let me just tell you this. By going through lawfare, smear campaigns, all these various things they've done to try to get this man off the ballot, to keep him from becoming president, should be telltale signs enough that something's afoot. Now, assassination attempt. Something's afoot, right? So if you don't believe in freedom, you should really take a long, hard look in the mirror right now. See what's going around. Process this. I mean, this is incredible. And
yeah, this whole channel is my effort to process all these things. Whether I succeed at that or not. Where in the world did I lose track of the chat? Here we are. Matt Cheatwood doesn't agree with something that you said. I'm not sure exactly which part. Did I lose you? Oh, she's probably talking to her sister. That's okay. Enigma Severus, Putin's cat, you always get personal, and yet you yourself as well. I've simply said, email me. We can discuss better. This chat only allows so many words. Putin's cat is almost a coin toss. Sashi, guys, don't make me quote the Hindu scriptures. Do it, Sashi. Your friends are for it. We'll think you're cool if you quote Hindu scriptures on here. Do it. Putin's cat, Enigma Severus, I'm an anonymous cat. You can quote what you want. I related part of the Bible to today's events. It's impossible to prove that wrong. Enigma Severus, Putin's cat. And yes, you hijacked the chat with your Revelations reference, which I said was wrong. And as soon as I challenged you, you said, well, that is a different topic, which they aren't. Putin's cat, Enigma Severus, you're upset. You didn't say it first. Okay. And Putin's cat, Chris Selby, are you really only using one source? I guess the stream's over. I'm only using one source. Moira?
No, you're just listening to what this guy's got to, the channel guy's got to say. What is it? What? Something survival?
The Black Scout survival. Well,
Okay.
Before you got here, I shared some stuff from Tucker Carlson. I realize nobody likes him, but I shared that he predicted 10 months ago that there would be an effort on Trump's life. I cited that. I cited it on the Hill. That's a source. Putin's cat, I'm really trying to be respectful, but sometimes you do kind of jab at people, and maybe there's not a need to do that all the time. Enigma Severus, Putin's cat, impossible to prove something wrong is a fallacy, which is why your reference is wrong. It is impossible to prove it is right. Enigma Severus, Sashi, I just saw that. Okay, I'm going to leave the chat for a little bit and go on. I'm not going to respond to that one. Sashi, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Okay. All right, let's let this guy finish up, and we'll move on to the next topic.
And I think a lot of people do
Same topic, just a different gear shift on that topic.
are worried. The state of the country. You know, there's smear campaigns, this Project 2025 that Trump says he has nothing to do with. And apparently this is a leftist scheme anyway. I've seen guys that have dug deep into this, and this was all left propaganda that they've developed to try to hurt the conservative movement. The fact of the matter is, we want freedom. We don't want this bullshit that they've been pushing, and they're not going to stop at all. Anyway, I wanted to show this footage. John, thank you again for sending this to us, man, and thankfully you're safe and your family's safe.
All right. And so that was a shooter's sharing some footage that he had a member of his community share, and his analysis of it. So
Hold on.
I don't know that is exactly a fair representation of the right, but I think it's a fair representation of what a lot of right-wing people think. I'm happy for you to interject something else or say something else, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the correct view. It just means that a lot of the right-wingers I talk to, those are the same things that they say as far as freedom, things of that nature. Enigma Severus wants Sashi to take that back. Clue Channel says the Jedi are evil. Enigma Severus says that Luke is his hero. Matt Cheatwood says, link this guy primarily for the footage he has. Yeah, fair point. I probably should have stopped with that. But I just wanted to hear the rest of what he said. Enigma Severus, until they did the last 3 movies, then I became very mad at producers. Putin's Cat, the chat is here in front of everybody. I've made points about today defending against Enigma Severus degree on the everything Christian. It's not my fault if I get defensive. Okay, fair point. Please forgive me for me getting defensive. Putin's Cat, if I was paranoid, I would suspect that certain people here are used to divert me from the main topic. I'm not even going to comment on that. So, Moira, we talked a little bit on your channel about my friends on the left and the things that they said about the assassination attempt. Did you have anything you wanted to share on that before I go to my next source, which is basically what the left's saying on X about the assassination? She is muted. She's probably on there with her sister. That's okay. Enigma Severus, Putin's Cat, I have no problem announcing my Christianity. I know you don't. I respect that. I simply don't think I should use that pertaining to this stuff. And respectfully, I tend to agree with that. I could be wrong, but nor do I believe any of this which happened today is in the Bible at all. This is literally just a Julius Caesar type situation in history. That's it. And Putin's Cat, Enigma Severus, you have that right, but you can't prove it does not. Which I'll let that statement stand. And Matt Cheatwood, the big questions I have, and he's cutting to the point. Will there be a retaliation? And will there be another attempt on Trump? I don't know.
I think, it depends on why there was an attempt in the first place. If it was partially done to get things stirred up, but like help encourage strife more so between the left and the right, then this was probably enough. They probably wouldn't need to do it again because, him being dead was not necessarily needed for this. But if it's maybe about the JFK files or whatever, and someone that actually has a reason why they would want him dead, then there probably will be another attempt. It'll probably be something more subtle this time, since out in the open didn't quite get it done. Maybe something in his food or something at an event, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and I agreed at Matt Cheatwood. I am also worried about that. I'm no fan of Biden. I'm not going to vote for him. But having said that, I stated it at the beginning of this stream, and I mean it. Somebody attempting to take out Biden is just as foolish
Exactly.
and
And
just
honestly,
as. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was going to say, and honestly, it would be silly to try at this point because now everybody is on high alert. After this happens,
Exactly.
everybody's
They
on high
should
alert.
be.
So there's going to, well, absolutely. But there's no way they're going to let their security lax now after this happening. There's no way.
Putin's cat doesn't assume anything other than that this person is a nut job. That's not a bad assumption. I will discuss some other possibilities, but I don't think that's a bad assumption at all.
Oh, even if it's a setup and he was paid to do it, you still got to be crazy to go into that line of work and accept the money to do it.
Yeah.
So, like, still whack job works.
Biden has better security and goes out less, which I believe is likely true, and Harris becomes president. Enigma Severus Putin's cat. I really get bothered when people represent Christ in an incorrect context. I get defensive on that. I do apologize for getting stressed, and I get it. I get stressed too. I sometimes say things, and sometimes for a lot less important things. You know what I'm talking about, Enigma Severus. I can be very touchy sometimes. At the Clue Channel, Biden is not the problem. It's the Bergs and Steins. Interesting. It's off topic, but that's interesting. And
Well, I think he's implying that they're pulling the strings on everything. Is what I think he's implying.
And I still need to look up Charles Barkley. Don't you people let me forget. Enigma Severus is not stopping. Putin's cat wants the last word. Okay, go for it. And Putin's cat, how can I misrepresent the Bible? There are many sects of our religion. Okay. So, again, Moira, before I go into what the left or certain segments, I want to be fair. This is not coming from Biden or Kamala Harris. This is not the official take, but I wanted to share what some people on the left are saying. And before I go into it, you have some idea of what I'm talking about. Would you like to share anything about what we had talked about backstage and on your earlier stream about some of the things the left's saying before I dive into that?
Hold on. Let me grab my cigarettes real quick. Sorry. Okay.
I will.
Sorry about that. I had to go a few feet to get to the table. Anyway, a few people are like, you had one job and you fucked it up, you missed, or something like that. And like, I know a lot of Republicans are going to be so upset about that, and I do find it tacky. But low key, I think our side would be laughing a little more if they aimed at Biden and missed. I mean, it's not like we're making jokes that he actually, if I wouldn't find it funny if he had actually been hit.
Yeah, 100%.
Or I mean, I'm sorry, he was nicked in the ear, but I mean, like actually catastrophically hit.
I guess I'll put this into some context a little bit for the people that weren't on your show. One of the reasons I was just inspired to do this was there was a lot of, I have friends on both sides. I realize that some people don't, but I have friends on the left. I have friends on the right. That's one of the reasons why I try to be centrist, because until I do become a myopic echo chamber person, I want to try to be fair to both of them. Fail likely, but try. And they were saying a lot of things in the chats on my phone that I personally took umbrage with, and I didn't have. I did, a courageous man would have called them out on it, but I just stayed silent. And a lot of them were saying things like, this was staged. It's too bad that the guy missed. And it really upset me, mainly because if it was on the other side, I know there's right wingers who would have the tackiness to say, Biden. But that's not the way I roll. I may not be perfect. I can still be snarky. I can be touchy, but I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody assassinated. I don't see the point in it in most cases. So, just to prove that it's not just simply me attacking my friends, X has a ton of stuff. This is fake. No one in the crowd is rushing for safety. This is staged. The more I keep watching this Trump attack video, the shit looked staged. No one in the crowd ran. The damn Secret Service took forever to get him out, which is true. It's a
I just
point.
found something concerning.
What's that?
Well, just for the heck of it, I decided to Google that doctor who went to go help everybody. Dr. Jake Rawson, I guess, in Pennsylvania. The guy who had the white shirt and the red hat, and he said he had gone to help people and did chest compressions and shit.
Uh-huh.
Well, I decided to Google his name and see if I could find his LinkedIn, this and that. Pretty much all the results are stuff that happened today. Well, I'm sharing screen. I want you to see something I just found. And I click on it, I'm not finding much.
Okay. Do I need to, let's see. Oh, I see it. Okay.
I mean, I don't know the same thing. And I click on it, I can't see it. But it says 2 days ago, an emergency room doctor I spoke with tried to save someone's life in the crowd. But he's in New Hampshire today.
He was campaigning for Biden?
But it's weird, though, because, I mean, Dr. Jake Rawson is supposed to be an emergency room doctor. That's who the guy, like, let me go back up here. Let's see. This guy, oh, for heaven's sakes. Fine, whatever. Jeez. This guy that was talking.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I just think it's super weird that, like, because I click on that. Wait a minute. And I was trying to find it just to see if, there's any mention of him before this ever happened. Just because, I get curious about these things.
Right on.
Where'd it go? I'm just not seeing it, I guess. Oh, what the fuck? Hold up. Oh. But I click on it, and it doesn't go to it. It's gone.
The internet does some weird stuff.
I know, but it just, when it says, emergency room doctor with, try to save the lives of people in the crowd 2 days ago. I mean, this is weird. Jake Rawson, emergency room doctor, saving lives in the crowd. But that was 2 days ago. That just looked weird to me. Oh,
so I
wanted to share that.
Coincidence. You don't suppose.
Coincidence, but it just looked weird.
Yeah. I don't know what to even say about that. That's odd.
But I always like to look for weird little things like that, just to see what you find,
Right on. The more I keep watching this Trump attack video, the shit looked staged. People online are claiming the attack on Donald Trump was staged. What do you think?
It's a dangerous thing to stage for yourself because,
I know.
That would be incredibly dangerous.
I'm really trying not to flip out or be unfair here because you know what I think about politicians. I really don't put much past hardly any of them.
Right.
But my spidey sense is tingling for whatever reason. Dennis R., if this wasn't fake, and I'm not willing to say 100% of it wasn't, there's no excuse for an attempt on Trump's life.
Right.
I agree with that. Nobody despises that man more than this person, Dennis. If he dropped dead of a heart attack, I wouldn't shed a tear, but violence is 100% unacceptable. If this is real, stop it now. Sully, something doesn't smell right. Remember in 2020 when someone rushed the stage and Trump quickly ducked. So today he hears shots being fired, raises his fist in the middle of a shooting. This was probably a staged attack by Trump himself.
I mean, it's not that someone wouldn't be sassy enough to plan something like that, but I mean, there's better ways to do it, like making sure there was blanks or something in there.
Yeah.
So that there's no chance, but getting your ear partially taken off or dang near close to it, it's like, that seems like, I don't know. That seems a little too silly to do to yourself.
So again, I'm probably being a little bit unfair. I'm not sharing the official statements. You can look them up yourselves. Number two, the official statements from the left, as far as I've been able to find, are all exactly what they should be saying, or very close anyway. This is terrible. This should not be happening. We shouldn't be doing this. Moira is the only cat that wears a hat, other than, Putin's cat says this isn't Hollywood. Trump would have to be involved. The guy that was shot in the head would have to be involved.
Well, I mean, he definitely was involved. Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
Well, even if he's a patsy, even if it's like another Oswald situation, he was still there in a strange place that you can't really explain why he would have been up there.
Exactly. Enigma Severus. So killing an innocent person in order to make sure Trump is elected, even when he has a major lead and the Dems are eating each other, they need to stage something.
Well, the reason why they might want to do that, theoretically, is that the way things are going, there's a lot of contention. So even if he won, people would be arguing that he didn't deserve to win, and there would be a lot of kerfluffle back and forth. This might reduce the chances of kerfluffle because each time one of them wins, the other side gets mad. So it could be partially for that, not just to win the election, but for like social standing, so to speak. I'm saying that's theoretical if that was a setup, which I'm not saying.
You're playing the
advocate. Like one could argue that could be the benefit they would have been aiming for. No pun intended. Sorry, that came out before I realized.
Putin's cat, the shooter was super MAGA. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad point. I mean,
extremes of either side are dangerous.
Someone evidently so fervent that they were willing to die to get it done. Enigma Severus, this has to be staged, and I know you well enough to know you're being sarcastic here, because the Secret Service rushed to cover Trump so he could apply the fake blood and not let anyone see.
Arguably, actually, it'd be more likely the Secret Service would have done it because you can't, when you're down like that, you can't see your own ear to apply it correctly.
Exactly correct.
So it would have to have been somebody else if it was fake.
Putin's cat and the bystander was killed. Yeah, correct.
That is awful.
Enigma Severus. Trump already has the social standing. He's more popular than ever due to the shit show Biden has allowed to happen with his cronies.
Oh, that's true.
Who are actually running the show. So
I agree. I'm just carrying out theories.
Likely I'm revealing my bias, but I agree with those statements, at least.
What he says makes absolute sense. I'm just saying if people are claiming it's staged, I'm trying to think of what would be the motive, what would be what they would gain if it was staged.
Yeah. The possibly I'm going to be going a bridge too far. And I'm honestly kind of hoping that either none or few of my liberal friends listen to this. But and I know we talked about it, and I'm glad that you were kind and respectful and understanding of my personal lunacy. But when I was hearing my liberal friends on the phone, what I thought of was this. I don't know if anyone remembers, but Alex Jones was hopping up and down, and I actually tried to find an actual recording of him saying the words that Sandy Hook was fake.
I think I vaguely remember because I think I was in welding school at the time and watched. I think he did.
I'm pretty sure he did. But the interesting thing is I can't find an actual recording of him saying it. I know it's out there somewhere.
Have you checked? This is gonna be a stupid question, probably, but have you checked Rumble and BitChute?
No, I haven't.
Because they can get away with keeping things that like a lot of places might have dropped, so they might still have the clip somewhere.
So I guess what I'm trying to say here is when people are hearing the left saying these things, respectfully to my friends, many of them, including myself, are just hearing a left-wing version of Alex Jones saying that Sandy Hook was fake.
Right.
I won't read this.
Not that he is comparing it to kids getting shot in the school. Like he's not.
No.
I want to cover
not.
that part. I want to cover that part.
Thank you for being intelligent enough to point that
Like,
out.
I know
It's
exactly
not
what
the
you
same
mean.
thing.
You're just talking about the extremes and stuff. But
Yes.
but nobody here is claiming that
And
it's a school full of
this
kids.
is why I hop up and down about this stuff. I don't mind people being liberal. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. But what I do mind is, I'm even okay with people listening to crazy crap. I've listened to Alex Jones. I've even found myself agreeing with him on occasion.
I used to. I kind of grew out of him around 2012.
When he did the Sandy Hook thing, I was pretty much done. You know,
I was interested in what he had to say just because I like to hear the
I
possibilities.
will still sometimes listen to it because, like, if you ever listen to the Joe Rogan interview with him,
yeah,
that's wild. You won't grow as a person. You won't learn much of anything, but it's a ride. It's a trip.
Yeah, back in when I was in welding school, occasionally I would still hear about him just because he comes up on the feed occasionally. And I remember him saying that the Sandy Hook thing was
Exactly.
But I remember him showing clips why he thought this. A lot of people are talking about him conceding, but they're not. Nobody wanted to talk about he was showing clips like the dad who supposedly his daughter. Well, I say supposedly because I'm just saying because I say supposedly about everything that his daughter had been shot there, and he was about to go up to the podium and talk like a lot of the parents were doing. They were sad and unhappy, and the guy and he was seen just off camera before he came into frame, but he thought he was out of frame, and he was kind of laughing and smiling with somebody, and then did the whole changed face instantly for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking weird. It was.
Well, at any rate, Matt Cheatwood was kind enough to share this, so I'm going to also share it with the community. The shooter in the Trump assassination attempt is a Pennsylvania man in his 20s. So they finally have some information on him from NBC News.
And how old is that Violets guy, supposedly?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, well, they're acting like they just identified him when they supposedly had identified him earlier and wrongfully, I would say.
The FBI. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. My brain was just kind of meh.
That's okay. The shooting was an assassination attempt on our former president, the FBI says, who I entrust implicitly. And a shout out to the NSA agent monitoring this blog. The FBI formally called today's attack on Trump an assassination attempt, said a motive wasn't immediately apparent. This evening, we had what we're calling an assassination attempt. At that time, they weren't ready to identify the shooter. So I don't know if they're going to really share very much about it or not. Okay. Federal investigators have tentatively identified Trump shooter. The investigators have tentatively identified him as a 20-year-old, as about 20, from Pennsylvania, according to 5 senior U.S. law enforcement officials briefed. And I think the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has formally asked Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle to appear for a hearing on July 22. And I think that's it. But we know a little bit more about him. He's in his 20s. And he's from Pennsylvania. So maybe there's something else.
Putin's cat has posted something.
Okay, let's see what he got. Um,
Well, a little further down. But
further down. Okay. Okay. Enigma Severus. People believe what they want with massive evidence or even a little evidence. It goes against the nuts. People laugh at funerals. Grief is not a perfect screenplay. Enigma Severus responds with, I partially agree in an overarching sense. Yes, when it comes to specifics, that may not always be true. Matt Cheatwood is saying, I don't think it was Mark Violets. Putin's Cat says, Thomas Matthew Crooks ID'd his gunman who shot Trump during Pennsylvania rally, U.S. News. Okay.
let's see what we can find about him.
They claim to have identified the shooter, but have not released a name yet. Actually, New York Post, do I trust them? And then Matt Cheatwood shares this. God dang it. All right. Yep, there we go. The Associated Press, police ID, fatal shooting victim aren't ready to release names. State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens said, other than Trump, 2 people were critically injured. 1 was killed. All were adult males. Kevin Rojek, Special Agent in Charge, FBI, Pittsburgh Field Office, said late Saturday tonight, we had what we're calling an assassination attempt on our former President Donald Trump. We do not currently have an identified motive. The FBI was not prepared to release the identity of the shooter who died at the scene. Rojek said they received no specific threats ahead of the shooting. Okay. Oh, and Sashi points out, most importantly, what are the shooter's pronouns?
Well, we might get a chance to find out because I'm sharing screen.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So, Twitter 2 is saying his name. They have a picture of 3 soldiers standing over his body. Twitter, the New York Post 50 minutes ago. Maybe let's try that.
I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
First off, I just want to say, look at that Habsburg jaw. God dang.
Wow.
His family tree is a wreath. It does not branch. God dang. Okay, I just want to get that out of the way now. All right.
20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks.
But that shirt does seem to match this a little better. But the hair, I mean, I guess he could have cut it or colored it.
Right on.
A little darker, but.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I would not.
Accurate.
Yeah, that does look more accurate than the other.
We want to know how in the world did this guy outmaneuver the Secret Service? I would like to know that. Because this guy, like, outmaneuvers showers pretty good. So, but god dang. This guy.
Right on.
Look, yeah. Like. Whew.
All right.
Let me go back one. Just a second. Like, the guy made a comment here and he's claiming this. So, the fact that your friend in the chat just said what was his pronouns, I'm like, that's actually a good question.
That is.
I mean, I don't know if that's confirmed, but
I have no idea if this guy knows anything about anything, but that's.
I just thought the timing was funny that he had said that, and I'm like, maybe.
All right,
yeah, I think I share that. So that's what the guy supposedly looks like,
and Matt is sharing something. I don't mean to take over. Oh, do you have something else to show? Okay, go ahead.
It says that President Trump's shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, is a registered Republican. Interesting. So he was born in 2003. That track. So that's kind of wild. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess anybody else could look this up, but still.
Yeah.
It's interesting how, like, that's Well, I'm not gonna lie. I did say that the person wasn't necessarily Democrat, but I've still got my heart on FBI being behind this somehow.
Well, me too. Although I could be wrong.
Right? We could.
I am going to see what Matt has, if that's all right.
But this post is definitely going to have people flabbergasted a little bit.
Oh, he's sharing, I think, the same thing or something similar anyway. All right. Thomas Matthew Crooks ID'd as a suspect. He was a 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. AR-15 was reportedly recovered at the scene. Crooks was apparently shot in the head after he tried taking out the former president. So pretty much similar, anyway, stuff that you had shared. Interesting. Очень интересно. Yeah.
She would say that the pronouns. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
The showrunner from The Acolyte. Maybe Trump wasn't even the target.
That would be wild. I wonder.
That would be wild. It's something to think about.
I wonder who would be then.
Okay. And I'm going to end this stream with when my liberal friends were all joking about, Trump should have died, and that this was all staged. I don't always agree with the gentleman I'm about to play, but I actually think that a good portion of his take on it was spot on. So if the liberals really do want to heal the divide, we need to hear, in my humble opinion, more things like this and less things like that.
Shot in a rally in Pennsylvania. The shooter appeared to be on a roof outside of the event, shot 5 times. I want to show you the video first. Let's watch.
Take a look at what happened.
So as you see there, President seems to get hit around the neck or the ear. He grabs for his neck. It might be that the bullet ricocheted off of something else, and either the bullet hit him or a shrapnel hit him. That's why it's a superficial wound. What he's going to do next is going to be amazing, to be honest. Let's watch that.
So we got to move to the bus. What's up? Wait.
You see him there say, wait, to the Secret Service.
Wait.
And pausing it, one, to keep from being, bumped by YouTube. And secondly, if the nation's going to heal, we've got to start recognizing when opposition actually does something cool. We don't do that often enough. We love to pick at the opponents. We love to, I had to be staged or this or that. Again, I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I'm probably not going to vote for Trump. But what I love, even maybe not more than, but almost as much as what Trump is doing here, I love that this Young Turks guy can actually acknowledge, hey, my political opponent actually did something cool. We've got to get back to being able to do that, or we're fucked.
Then it appears he says to the crowd, fight. He looks totally heroic. You got to be honest about it. You have to be objective about it. That's our job. look, thank God he's alive. Shooting your political opponents is an act of submission, unilateral surrender, saying my ideas are too weak. I can't beat you politically. I've got to end you physically. That's a disaster. The shooter is, of course, disgusting, both morally and, of course, politically. He's done.
And I love that point. If we've got to resort to, I mean, I know you and I talk about revolution, but to me, assassination and revolution are different things. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I would give my opinion, but this is the one time where I think that my opinion may not be appropriate at this time.
Well, and that may be so, but to me, I agree with this guy. If we have to resort to assassination, that just means that we don't have a strong enough of an idea to win. Let's finish off what he says. Again, he is about to go into some things that I don't agree with, but I feel like in this particular report, this was the third thing that I watched after I heard about it. I think he actually did do a pretty good job of actually reporting and not pontificating here.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of pontificating, but not,
Nothing but terrible damage. And it is clearly an assassination attempt. 5 shots fired. BBC has an interview.
He's not saying it's staged. He's not saying it's faked.
With an eyewitness that saw him on the roof with a rifle. It appears that this is now the best guess we have, that a bullet might have ricocheted or hit something else. And hence, that's why he has a superficial wound on his ear or neck. He's totally fine, but he really could have been killed. It was an assassination attempt. It appears the guy basically missed, hit something else, and that's why Trump was grazed. Those pictures and videos, now just from a purely political perspective, are going to look terrific for him. I've called him a coward hundreds of times, but here he was not. He was brave, and that was an incredible moment when he put his arm up and said, fight, fight, fight. So Trump's okay. Assassination attempt. He's alive. It's a disaster in every other way.
Lots of new information since our last update from the W.
All right. And Putin's cat says he's assuming the other side did this. We have zero proof of that. Anyway, I guess the point that I'm trying to make, number one, if a civil war starts, this was the first shot fired. Number two, I've gotten to where I've almost stopped listening to my liberal friends. If they want me to get back to where I'm listening to them, they need to say more things like this Young Turks guy said, and fewer things that they despised when the right was saying them. And I'm just putting that out there. So what would you like to add or interject? I'm even okay with you saying that assassination is okay sometimes, but I would love for you to put it into a perspective that
I was going to say that sometimes assassinations are required to prevent revolution.
I understand that. But
this is not used as a.
But then,
not like this.
Not to respectfully and not to totally argue your point, but just to try to apply some logic, possibly, maybe, to it. Isn't that what everybody says, though? We have to assassinate this guy, or there's going to be a revolution.
Sometimes people assassinate people just like, I don't know, weird ass reasons. Like, my Lenin comment was blocked. This guy may not be political. The guy that took out Lenin wanted thanks, right? So that's possible. This guy could have wanted thanks. I mean, look at that Habsburg jaw. He's not getting famous any other way. Woof.
And my apologies. I didn't block any comments, but sometimes YouTube does that arbitrarily. I'm sorry about that, Putin's cat. Enigma Severus. My small paragraph was also blocked. Interesting. I promise I didn't block anybody. I did not know about it until now. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised YouTube hasn't done it before recently.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I am grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for the platform, but I really do wish there was less censorship that went on out here. I'm more in agreement with you. You should be able to say that word, but yeah, that's YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
do you have any final thoughts before I call it a stream, say goodbye and thank you to the chat, and then run on for the hills?
I don't think I have anything left to say. I think between 2 live streams, I think I've got it all out there, at least until we know more anyway.
Exactly correct. Exactly. And thank you so much for coming online. Thank you for having me on yours.
I'm always glad to be here. I'm always thankful to be here. You're fabulous.
Me too. You're very kind. You're very kind. All right. So since I didn't start with an intro, I won't do an outro. Although it might extend it to midnight, and then I truly will be the tired blogger. What blogs at midnight?
It makes me almost want to that little clip from Family Guy. Play me out, Johnny, and it starts playing that little.
We might do that.
That would be hilarious.
Let me thank the chat, and then we might just look that up just to have a good finish. Okay, thank you. Putin's Cat, Enigma Severus, Matt Cheatwood. All of you are so supportive and contribute so much. I thank you so much. Sashi, thank you so much for coming here from the future. But I still wish you would share the lottery numbers. Who else was here? I know Darth Plato was here.
Okay, I got it ready.
Oh.
I'll let you say goodbye to everybody, but I got it ready.
No, not yet. Not yet. Where's Darth Plato? There he is. Yes. Howdy. Thank you so much. The Clue channel, thank you for being here.
Yeah, Clue channel.
I really probably should start looking up more things on Rumble or BitChute, but I never think about it for some reason. I guess that's my own little weird shallow-mindedness or whatever. I think that was everyone. And of course, thank you. The lovely and talented Moira Kitty was on here giving us their thoughts. Enigma Severus has a couple thing on the chat. I would like mine more about defending Christianity over the small stuff. That guy today chose his hill. He lost that small fight.
Nope.
Are they still blocking my thoughts? That's possible. I promise you, I'm not saying I will never block anybody, but as long as people stay at least nominally respectful and don't get too insulting to each other or myself, I don't think I'll ever block anybody, whether you disagree with me, whether you say something that irritates me. I still believe you should have the right to say it, at least to a point. See ya, Sashi, and the next one. And they're saying the ID is still unknown. Yeah, that's all right. So what am I looking it up? Are you looking it up? What
I had it ready.
All right.
I had it queued up.
All right. Go for it.
Oh, darn it. I didn't have it loud enough, apparently. My bad.
Putin's Cat. People that block me get faces on bitches. Well, I don't want that, so I will make every reasonable effort not.
Whoever blocks me, your mama's a hoe.
So it's a Family Guy.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'll rewind it because it goes real quick.
Play me off, Johnny.
A little 7-second clip of it. or
If-
6-second clip of it.
If I thought I could get away with that, I would make that. There's several songs I wanted for intros and outros, but of course they're all copyrighted until I'm a big name or something, which, that's probably not going to happen, but. And that's YouTube doesn't like that. Okay. We have one hill to make a stand. Make it a good one, people. And Enigma Sever says, which is why I said mine is for Christianity. And I think even though the two of you have differing views, I think Putin's cat would actually agree with that too. The guy today chose the wrong hill. I would agree with that. Whether it was staged, which I don't think. This guy, it's not even about politics. He just chose the wrong side as far as morality. I do agree with the Young Turks guy. If you want to defeat Trump, defeat him in politics, defeat him in the realm of ideas. And if you can't, maybe that's a little bit on you.
Right.
Maybe. Not entirely necessarily, but maybe a little bit. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a stream. Thank you all very much. And have a wonderful evening.
Lots of hugs to everyone.
Hugs from Moira and salutes from Curtis.
Okay.
Oh, and remember, you're not going mad. You're going sane in a world gone mad. Good evening.